Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 44 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus to clarify for me, and then I write from that clarity. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. Well, before we do get started, let me mention my background, which is Zanzibar. And it's a photo by John Gardiner of New Zealand. And thanks to John for this. All right, so we're looking at lesson 136. Sickness is a defense against the truth. Yesterday, we discovered that when we defend ourselves, we're actually attacking ourselves. Today, we explore how sickness can serve as a defense. Lesson 136 cuts to the core of how the ego uses the body to witness the separation and how sickness functions as a veil to protect the ego identity from the truth of what we are. Sickness is not an accident, it's a decision we make in an effort to hide reality so we can go on pretending to be what we are not. This bit of self-deception comes at quite a cost. It's a choice you make, he tells us. It's a choice you make, a plan you lay. When you, for an instant, truth arises in your own deluded mind, and all your world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now are you sick that truth may go away and threaten your establishments no more. I'm going to share with you something I didn't write as part of this. And I probably said it before, but I'm going to say it again because it fits so beautifully here. So one time I was doing the lessons and I was on, forget which one it is, but one that says, it says, I'm not a body, I'm free, for I'm still as God created me. And for a moment, that became not something I understood, not even something I believed. It became true for me. Just for a moment, just out of nowhere, I just knew this. And as soon as that happened, I started feeling very sick. I immediately had a fever. I could feel it. I started to feel sick to my stomach. I got up, ran to the bathroom, and threw up. The thought I had on the way to the bathroom was, oh, my granddaughter was sick, but I knew as soon as I got there, I knew that wasn't true. I knew that this was happening as a defense against that truth which I had. It's a bit of self-deception, a veil thrown over the truth that had come to me to protect the ego identity from the truth of what we are. And so I stood there throwing up and then laughing and throwing up and laughing. If anybody had come in, they would have thought I was out of my mind. And I was, so to speak. Anyway, perfect, absolutely perfect experience of what he's saying here. Sickness is not an accident, it's a decision we make in an effort to hide reality so that we can go on pretending to be what we are not. This bit of self-deception comes at quite a cost. It's a choice you make, a plan you lay for an instant, when for an instant truth arises in your own deluded mind and all the world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now you are sick, that truth may go away and threaten your establishments no more. And you know what? As soon as I recognized what was happening, I suddenly got well. No fever, no throwing up. I laughed it away. Sometimes I witness myself in the act of choosing sickness over truth, as I did in that time. For instance, I was getting dressed for the day and thinking about my first appointment. I asked Jesus to be in charge of our conversation. Then my mind began to wander, and the next thing I noticed was an inner conversation with my doctor in which I listed my symptoms and talked about how it seems I always get problems with no solution. And that jolted me back to the present. I questioned the purpose of that imaginary conversation. I just opened my mind to inner guidance, and suddenly I was mentally rehearsing a conversation about pain with a doctor I won't even see for a week. If that weren't enough, I was discussing a condition with no cure. To understand what was happening, I had to look at the thoughts as decisions I was making. The mind doesn't think in third person. It doesn't say, you have an unsolvable problem. It says, I have an unsolvable problem. That's how I remain convinced that I'm thinking these thoughts rather than realizing I'm simply aware of thoughts passing through. What is me is a decision maker, the one who decides whether or not to believe those thoughts. It's not necessary and maybe not even possible to avoid these ego conversations, but I have the power to disregard them as untrue. I'm not a victim of my mind any more than I'm a victim of my body. However it may seem, I decide on sickness or on health. It's up to me. The body cannot make this decision for me. Sickness says, see, I'm this body. I'm vulnerable. I'm separate. I'm not as God created me. Thus, it becomes a powerful proof of the ego's claim of separation. Except this time it didn't. That time, should I say. You suffer pain because the body does, and in that pain are you made one with it. Thus is your true identity preserved, and the strange, haunting thought that you might be something beyond this little pile of dust, silenced and stilled. This lesson is helping me to push through the veils of deceit that the ego pulls over the mind. I have chronic pain, and it isn't that handy if my goal is to remain firmly tied to the idea of a body. I can talk about freedom, describe how I've experienced it, even offer concrete examples, and all of that feels safe. But what I have been unwilling to do is to let go of the devices I've used to maintain the identity of Myron. Well, I'm no longer hiding this from myself. From this moment forward, I will call myself out each time I experience body pain. I will not accept the fiction that the body is stronger than the truth. I'm going to become aware. I am aware of the thought of pain, which is showing up as if it's in my body. So, how does this healing occur? Well, it's not through medicine, surgery, or any other magical means. Healing happens in the mind, not by fighting symptoms, but by withdrawing the belief in separation, which gave rise to the illusion of sickness in the first place. When we let go of fear and accept who we are, healing is a natural result. It is a mind that is healed, and with that healing, the body will follow suit because the body is a thought in the mind projected as if it could be outside the mind. Change the thought, and you change the projection. This does not always seem to be the case. I've forgiven untrue thoughts, and I've seen healing follow, sometimes instantly or nearly so. But then the body gets sick again, or pain shows up in a new way. For full healing, we must accept the truth completely. It's okay if it takes time. I've never felt I was in control of the healing of my mind anyway. The Holy Spirit heals as I am ready. But heal I must, and my practice of the Course is preparing my mind for that shift. And what a shift it will be. Think on this. The Course tells us that when the mind is healed, the body simply becomes a neutral means of communication, no longer a source of identity, fear, pleasure, or pain. The body is no longer experienced as me, and therefore its conditions lose their power to define reality. Jesus even says that when we practice this successfully, there is no response at all to what the body does. That's pretty incredible. He tells us in chapter 18, I'm sorry, of paragraph 18, perhaps you do not realize that this removes the limits you had placed upon the body by the purposes you gave it. As these are laid aside, the strength of the body will always be enough to serve all truly useful purposes. The body's health is fully guaranteed because it is not limited by time, by weather or fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made to serve you. You need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. Even then, we will have to preserve our protection by careful watching. The ego will not give up, so neither can we. Give instant remedy should this occur by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you longer. Do not be confused about what must be healed, but tell yourself, I have forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth, but I'm not a body, and my mind cannot attack, so I cannot be sick. Thank you so much for sharing this reading with me. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. And I mentioned yesterday, and I'll mention it again, is that I did a recording of a discussion between myself and Reverend Sabrina Rollins, which you may find very helpful. If you haven't watched it, please look for that. And if you do like it or do find it helpful, then please say so or react to it. That's how I know what might be helpful in the future. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. See you then.